Hello, everyone. I'm Nick on the side of the comments, of course, Justin, and welcome to Midweek Gaming. That was a little bit confusing because I'm on a little bit of a rush. I'm literally doing this recording from a hotel room in a bathroom. So if it sounds weird, I'm sorry. Technical difficulties that come with traveling. So, here we are, and we're going to be talking about something that I think, honestly, we should probably have been talking about for a little bit now, or we should probably talk about at some point, especially because we do a lot of Destiny content. The minute you heard the word Destiny, I'm sure a lot of people clicked off. Don't go away just yet. It is going to be about the whole business surrounding Edge of Fate and the kind of dev stream and kind of what we've been seeing in terms of impressions and kind of our overall feelings going into Edge of Fate. Just kind of where we are, I think. I mean, like I said, we do a lot of Destiny content, so I feel like this is appropriate.
Yeah, we've done a lot of Destiny content in the past, so we try to keep up to date with it.
We try. We try.
We try.
So let's just kind of start off with. I think the best place to start actually would be with the overall dev stream, the most recent one. No, actually, let's shelve that one for a second. Let's kind of talk about our overall feelings about Edge of Fate, just kind of where we are in terms of Destiny. And I think I'll have just Justin start because I'm more curious to see what he'll say.
So for me, I've been treating Destiny, and I'm probably gonna treat Edge of Fate the same way that I've been treating Destiny right now, which is I will come onto the game every once in a while, play a mission or two of a strike, maybe jump into a Crucible match. I've even rarely jumped onto Gambit once or twice, but I'll jump onto the game and just play to have fun. I'm not playing to grind. I'm not playing to try to get better items or anything like that anymore. I'm just trying to have an enjoyable experience. So that's kind of how I'm gonna treat Edge of Fate. Is just go on, play it to have some fun, look at the little story bits here and there, and try to enjoy myself.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I love how you say I'm just going to try and enjoy myself, almost with this tone of like, it's almost difficult to enjoy ourselves these days, which honestly, if you want to be critical in the Destiny community, might actually be
I mean,
something of a hot take these
I
days.
mean, there's the side point of everyone is cynical nowadays, and everyone only wants to look at negative news. And to be fair, that tends to be a track record for anything and everything. But the statement is there.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny's kind of in a weird spot right now, and I kind of will use that as kind of a jumping off point from my opinion. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, folks. I will be here till the server shut down or till D3 gets announced. When, if let's all cross our balls and pray. It's kind of one of those things where it's not a sunk cost fallacy at this point. It's just because I'm curious to see where it goes, and
Yeah.
maybe because I'm slightly masochistic. So, um, it's kind of one of those things where I just want to see where it goes, right? So I'm going to be here and kind of, I'll like I said, I'll be here till whenever the hell I'm not here. That said, I will admit that this is probably the longest time I've ever put off buying a expansion when it comes to things.
Mm.
Not necessarily because of the whole business around Edge of Fate itself, though I admit that probably does play some role in it when it comes to like the kind of vibes around Edge of Fate. It's more just the fact that I've been very busy lately and my budget's been a bit tight, so I've been trying to like throw everything
Fit
together,
it
and I'm not sure if
around.
I like. Yeah, like I said, my money's tied up in Scotland right now. If you know, if you're a long running fan of the show, you know why. TLDR, it's because of academia and whatnot. But regardless, because of that, I just have not been able to purchase Edge of Fate just yet. But when it comes to my overall impressions of Edge of Fate as an expansion, it feels interesting, right? Like the whole business with the year of fate, I think they're calling it like the year of fate or something like that. It's very much this whole, you know, we're gonna explore the nine and some weird things, and that's kind of fun and all. Don't get me wrong, but it's like so much of this just kind of feels uninspired, I guess is the proper word I'm gonna go for here. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to what's the word in the content space? Uh um hate farm or whatever it's called. I don't remember what the term is called.
I would say hate farm. I would say hate farm.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hate farm here. But it's kind of my honest feelings kind of going into Edge of Fate, where it does kind of feel uninspired, right? Where it's like we're trying to do a Metroidvania style game, which apparently means literally ape Metroid to the down to the part of us literally turning into a ball and rolling around, which
Yeah.
that would itself raise an eyebrow. But there's just kind of also so many stuff just kind of going along with it, right? Like hell, even the most recent dev stream, which we kind of use as a kind of jumping off point to talk about here, was more about the overall features coming in Edge of Fate, not like in terms of the actual expansion, but just like, hey, there's a new armor system for armor tiering, which turns the game far more MMO than maybe it should be, maybe it shouldn't be. I don't know. That's a hot take in and of itself. And we have a shooting range now, but there's next to really nothing in terms of overall the plot. And you could say that them playing it close to their chest, but I mean, like, from what we do know of the plot, we go to a mystery planet, planetoid with a black hole, white hole. I think it's a black hole in the middle of it. There's Ionians, and apparently they're another offshoot of humanity. Which, if I may just tyrant on a tyrant here for a second, it feels weird that we're doing this for the third time at this point. Like, the Awoken made sense as an offshoot of humanity that managed to kind of survive the collapse if you know their lore. The Miyamuni kind of played with that idea of like they stayed hidden all this time, so you can kind of explain them away too.
Yeah,
But we're
like it
now on
made
ancient civilization
sense.
number 3 that we've just never discovered.
Yeah, like when it came to Liamuna, it made sense because like there was a lot of story around the it being involved of yeah, we just went out of our way to like hide everything to the point where even Rasputin tried to hide us. Like it made sense there. But at some point you got to ask, okay, well how many other hidden people are out there then cuz this is getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of the part where I can kind of go back to the whole it feels uninspired bit, where again, it feels like we're just kind of playing the same old beat of like, we found another offshoot of humanity for the third time. It's like, how, come on, guys. We called ourselves the last cities of humanity for God knows how many millennia, and just nobody bothered to check that. Like, nobody bothered to actually get that cited. We're the last city. Why? Because no
Because
one's proven us wrong yet, so we must be.
we're all that we see, so therefore we are.
Yeah, object permanence is all that matters. If we don't see another city, therefore there are no other cities. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like, again, it's kind of as Justin said, right? The Miyamuni bent over backwards to keep themselves hidden to the point where they deleted themselves from Rasputin's archives. So it makes sense in a way you can kind of get away with them pulling off the whole ancient civilization that survived shtick. And the Awoken, because of their own lore, have always been kind of a weird one when it comes to their offshoot of humanity. Hell, depending on who you ask, they don't technically even count as humanity anymore if you really want to get particular about it. So, those two can kind of get explained away, but it feels like we're just kind of retreading the same old ground when it comes to the Aoni? Ioni? Yeah. So there's that. And, I mean, do I even have to bring up Renegades? Renegades is such a controversial topic.
I
You
mean,
just bring up the name.
here's the thing. I'll say this when it comes to Renegades. There is some level of understanding from me on to why people don't like Renegades in the fact that like, all right, you're bringing in Star Wars content into Destiny, and both franchises are not doing the best. So it feels kind of like they're just trying to do cash grab type stuff. But at the same time, sorry, my voice is dying on me for some reason. At the same time, when you really think about it, Star Wars-esque type stuff can very well fit into the Destiny universe. And minus the whole like sandbox that like the combat sandbox that Bungie is really well known for, they could very well do some nice story beats with Star Wars type aspects to it. So like it's one of those things where like sure it's understandable why people are upset about it, but at the same time it might be worth at least giving them a small sliver of a chance to see what they actually are going to make.
Yeah, like again, that's the kind of what I mentioned when you bring up the whole business with Renegades. You're going to get like as many people that rush to defend it as you do people that rush to criticize it. And if you want my honest take on the whole thing, I can see both of them being right. Because here's the thing, neither of them are technically raising bad points, right? On one side, you have people that are rushing to defend it, saying, Bungie is just saying that. Actually, no. It would probably be more sensible if I start with the people who are kind of going against it. We have people who are kind of going against it, being like, Bungie says they're, it's just an inspiration, yada yada. It's got nothing really to do with Star Wars yet. We have Lucasfilms involved in all this. We have a literal fucking lightsaber. We have Kylo Ren skins for basic. Like,
We have
there is
Grievous,
a certain
Ren.
point where you got to be like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. Plus, you got to also factor in the fact that Bungie has never been honest when it comes to things in the past. So taking them at their word can. But on the other hand, it's like Justin says, right? There is a world where this can work. And again, Bungie, if they are true to their word, say that it is purely a expansion that is inspired only by Star Wars. So I think to kind of end all be all is kind of how much faith you really put in Bungie's words, right? There are some people who are willing to take it as is and being like, okay, they say it's only inspiration, so let's wait and see. And then there are people who have just lost all faith in Bungie to the point where nothing they say will ever truly be considered truthful. So again, both sides have a point here. My personal 2 cents on the whole thing is wait and see, right? I want to wait and see how more of Renegades before I judge it fully, because like I said, what we've seen right now is only really bits that have been written up by the narrative team, which can be more fluff than not. And we see bits that can be, that are made up by the marketing team when it comes to I guess you could say the teaser, if you will, when we see the Warlock, I think it was, pull out the lightsaber and stuff like that. Those, that's not much to go off of, right? That's not a good look. Don't get me wrong, that's not a good look. But it's not exactly damning proof, right? I would, like I said, wait and see. So that's my 2 cents on Renegades. I will ultimately be buying the Ultimate Edition of the Fate year to see how things play out. Because, like I said, I'll be here till the end, wherever the heck that winds up being. But I am definitely curious to see what becomes of the whole Edge of Fate thing, like I said. There is some interesting ideas being played with here, even if I personally think it might not be the most imaginative take on the whole formula, right? But that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Any, bits you want to add it, Justin, on top of that?
Not really. I mean, to me, like, the biggest thing right now is the fact that a lot of people in the community aren't helping out with, like, constant waves and push to be negative. So we'll see how it goes, but I would say it might be worth just being like, hey, let's give them a small chance and see what they do.
That's the thing, right? Like I said, that's kind of the part where I kind of say, I can't fault them for being that way, right? Bungie has burned so many bridges at this point, I think they're classifying themselves for arson. It's that point where I definitely can't deny the community myself, that kind of hatred, but I also want to be hopeful. I want to be hopeful. I want to be hopeful, but I also understand the people who are not hopeful, because they've got a point.
They have the reasons for it.
Yeah. So let's just kind of wait and see. That's my 2 cents on it all. But anyways, that is the show for this week. Kind of a shorter-ish one. Again, you'll forgive me for the terrible acoustics. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm literally recording this from a bathroom, so the echoing in here is horrible. And I'm only doing this because there's someone else in the other room right now doing some stuff, so that would kind of get messed up with the recording. So it was either kind of you hearing background noise or you hearing me echo. So, sorry guys. I promise it'll hopefully be better next week when I have more stuff set up. I've just been kind of really, I've just
Nick
kind of
is kind of in
that
iffy spot where he has to deal with some stuff right now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of running around right now, kind of going back and forth, so I just don't really have the time to set up like a nice space for you guys, so I'm sorry in advance. But anyways, that is our show for this week. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all liked it. Again, let us wait to see how Edge of Fate turns out. Maybe we'll do an early impressions when it comes out, or at least I will. Justin probably won't.
I might play, but yeah.
Maybe we'll do an early impressions with both of us playing, maybe just one. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how it goes in. I'm just kind of waiting to see where this kind of goes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do Warframe Isle Weaver next week. Do a community that's not trying to see the company burn.
Don't worry
A
about it.
positive community in the gaming space? Blasphemy. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a good day.